Hey everyone, welcome to Conversations with the Real Estate Redhead. Today we have Mike Rodriguez on, and he's going to talk to us about the importance of solar and some things that, I think that everybody should know in regards to that. He really does a good job trying to protect consumers, and he cares a lot about his job. So welcome, Mike. Thanks for being on with us today.
All right. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to get this stuff out.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your business and, everything that you guys do.
Right on. Okay. So I am a co-founder with a company called PhD Productions. PhD, of course, stands for the highest degree that you can get. For us, it means powering higher devotions. With that, it's our platform that we use to plan events and get messages out that we feel that the community and the world really need to hear. So we have a wide array of different things that we work with. Most recently, we have an event coming up called The Truth About Solar, and it's going to be here at the Alamo Draft House.
Here in Corpus?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Corpus,
What day is that?
It's going to be on January 22nd at 6 p.m.
Okay. Alamo Draft House, January 22nd at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And y'all's goal with that is to educate consumers about solar and what to be aware of, I guess?
Absolutely. The biggest thing that we have come across is education. Homeowners have an idea of what solar is supposed to be. Sales reps take advantage of that. There are there are opportunists. So if they get a chance to pounce, they will. And if they can get away with not having to tell you everything, they will.
Shady salesman.
Right on. Yeah. And so a lot of times what that winds up being in the end result is you have a homeowner that has a hefty solar panel payment. They still have an electric bill, and they're married to those panels for 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the sad part about that is typically the sales rep that sold it walks away with almost a third of that total loan amount as a commission.
Wow.
So they can leave with $25,000, $30,000 in their pocket.
Wow.
And the homeowner is stuck with paying that for the next 25 years.
Well, and they probably don't educate them. I know we got sucked into one time a new home installation. It was a security system that someone sold to us, and we didn't have any idea. They never told us the total value, the total amount of what we were buying. They told us what the monthly payment was. Mm-hmm. They didn't say how many months. They didn't say how much interest it was. They didn't say what the actual amount was that we were purchasing.
Right.
They just said, oh, hey, you want all of these things? Okay, well, how do you feel about this monthly payment? Only $100 a month, $75 a month.
Right.
And we're like, oh, yeah, we can do that for a security system. No big deal. And we didn't realize, and he did tell us it was a 0% interest. Mm-hmm. So we're like, it's fine, but we didn't realize how long that was going to be carried out and what the actual principle was. Because if we would have known that, we probably wouldn't have done it.
No, absolutely. It's a huge factor.
Yeah.
That information is a huge, huge factor. There's a big difference between owning and renting. When and I tell homeowners this, one piece of knowledge that I usually turns on a light bulb for them is, when you rent, you know how much you're going to pay. But when you buy, you know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
We want to know how much it's going to cost first. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to let you know your payment structure, because that's how it works. That's how it works in homes. That's how it works in cars.
Right.
Anytime you're going to buy something, even when you're at the store and you want to buy a blender, first thing you do, how much does it cost?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so that information is imperative. Mm-hmm. You need to know that out the door.
So you would say that's probably the first and most important thing when it comes to purchasing solar.
Yeah.
Is going to be knowing the cost up front. Right.
Yeah. Solar. Now, see, to preface that, solar isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Mm-hmm. Whatever the amount of panels your neighbors have will work for them, but they may not work for you.
Yeah.
So what the information that is imperative, the information that's actually key to designing a strong, successful system is your annual usage for the household, your annual production for your system, and how much it's going to cost.
What is annual production?
Annual production is the amount of power that your solar panels will produce inside of a year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, and that probably is very, very much related to how much you actually are using.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. So if a homeowner's, let's say a 3-bedroom house, and they've got kids and whatnot, and they're using, let's say, 15,000 kilowatts a year. You want to design a system that produces at least 16 to 17,000 kilowatts a year.
To have a little bit extra.
Right, and it's called future proofing. You just want to leave them in a good place that if they put in a swimming pool or if they start doing more work around the house, they get new power tools and everybody's got to start cutting stuff and building stuff. Your system can actually compensate for that extra draw of energy and still leave you with only a solar panel payment and not juggling two payments.
Gotcha. So what is that like then? If someone were to get it installed, they can expect to only have to worry about paying for the cost of their solar panels, and they don't need to worry any longer about paying an electric provider?
That is correct. What another piece of information that we provide is, when you're dealing with a dishonest salesperson, all they're going to say is essentially this: hey, don't worry about it. We're going to design you a system. It's going to overproduce, and you're going to get credit from your electric provider. All right?
Oh, you're going to get credit from your
your see, problem is what if your electric provider doesn't have a buyback program?
Yeah.
And now you're stuck with either not generating credit that you'll get back, or you'll still wind up with an electric bill. Because
your solar panels are not producing enough?
They are producing enough. But if you don't tell your electric provider, how could they know?
Got it.
So they're not going to give you credit. They'll just assume, oh, it's a fluke. They just zeroed out this month. No big deal.
Oh,
for
wow.
all you know, you could have overproduced 500 kilowatts. That's probably good for $20, $30.
Okay.
You know?
So whenever you have solar installed, you get a credit back from your electric provider for what you don't use?
Oftentimes you do. And sometimes you don't. There are, like in the winter months, where your system just does not produce enough energy to outrun your home's daily usage.
Interesting.
Yeah. But the great thing is we've got the summer months where we've got long summer days.
Yeah.
And that is where your panels really rock out and they start shining big time for you. So they'll way outrun your daily usage, and that is where you're going to generate the heft of your credits.
So I'm thinking polar vortex, and when we all lost power.
Right.
And I know that solar panels are not generators. No. How does it work whenever your power runs out?
Well, when the power goes down, if you only have panels, you have to go down with the grid.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you have to do it. It's a safety feature. Mm-hmm. You got to consider your panels don't know why the system is down. They don't know why the grid went down.
Gotcha.
They're not logic like that. They have no way. But they know that they are not receiving signal from the grid, and when that happens, your controller has to shut down the system.
Gotcha.
And once that happens, you're dead in the water just like everybody else. Now, if you have a battery backup or generator or something like that, if it's tied into your system, then what will happen is what I call closed loop. If the grid goes down, your logic controller will actually switch everything over and start running off your generator or start running off of your batteries. And depending on how I design the system will dictate if the panels run the house during the daytime and maintain the battery's charge, or if it just goes straight to battery and recharges the battery.
Gotcha.
Constantly.
So you can purchase batteries with your solar panels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Because everything in our house is electric, and I grew up on gas.
As did I.
And my parents were always like, you always want to have a house with gas because then you will still have hot water. You'll still be able to cook stuff. And I'm like, cool. And then I went to go try and buy a house. Nothing is gas anymore.
No, and it's
like
crazy.
Hard to find.
It's crazy to find out. You have to go back over to like the west side of Corpus, and buy like a remodeled house where the gas
older
lines are
homes
actually up to your
where they're
your
actually
house.
still there. Yeah, because gas lines are not really a thing as much as they used to be.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I envy people who have generators, but then I think of the cost, and I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that.
Truthfully, the way I see it, excluding the vortex that nailed us, excluding that.
The polar vortex?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
If you're only going to be down without power for 3 or 4 hours, it's really not, an economic move to say, hey, let's get batteries.
Yeah.
Because the batteries aren't going to offset that cost of just losing 3 hours of electricity.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Batteries are expensive. Generators are expensive. Installing them, getting permits, it's a drawn-out process.
Oh, interesting.
And, sometimes it can actually take longer. I've got homeowners that purchased. I've got 2 homeowners that purchased generators, and I've got 1 homeowner that purchased batteries. We're still waiting for permits to get those installed.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you need a permit for that?
Well, for the generators, it's because we have to tap into the natural gas line.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, like the Generac 22 kilowatt home generator, those big ones that everybody wants.
Yes, those big gray things.
Yeah, those actually get plumbed directly into the to the natural gas line.
I had a neighbor get a gas tank installed under their house.
Really?
Is that what they told me they did? Maybe they told me that was an option. Because it's my family home. Mm-hmm. My neighbor I grew up with since I was a child. They got it installed because after Harvey, you know, Rockport got hit real bad by Harvey. Yeah. And my grandpa had a generator installed whenever he built his house, and all of us were over there at his house. Right. We all showered over there. You know, it wasn't like the typical cold AC. Yeah. But we had power.
But you were okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And so they wanted to get one installed, and if I'm not mistaken, that's what they told me they did. And that just freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, that makes me a little nervous.
That freaks me out a little bit.
I think if you wanted to do that on your own, you could, but I wouldn't advise you to do it.
I don't know if they did that or if that's what if that's what one of their options was. But I know that neighborhood that we live in is gas. Right. So I don't know why that's ringing a bell for me. Yeah. So something else I kind of have a question about. Okay. How do people that have solar panels installed on their roof, how do they replace their roof covering?
Like replace the roof itself if you need to. Well, contrary to a lot of the information that's been given out, there is no retailer that will pay to remove your panels for you and pay to reinstall them.
Got it.
I have heard homeowners tell me that and ask me if that's true. The truth of the matter is it's not true. Nobody is going to want to spend that money. Yeah. You know, so what I would advise is if you have somebody that needs a roof, if they intend on getting panels, replace the roof beforehand. Yeah. You're going to get a roof that's going to last 25 years. Your panels are going to be warranted for 30 years. Chances are, you know, you're going to get to where you need to replace your panels or just take them off when your roof is beginning to expire anyways. Okay. But, yeah, I wouldn't advise anybody to remove the panels if they had to do any kind of roof work. Get that done prior. Yeah. The panels, when they're installed, they're intended to be permanent. And
I see. So it's a big operation.
Yeah, it's literally the easiest way to take panels off of a roof would just to be cut out the section of the roof.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, because once they're installed, they are not intended to be.
You mean like the decking and everything? Yeah. Cut off the decking?
Just cut it all off and send all that down and redeck it and
Holy smokes, that's a big thing. It's a big deal.
It's a tough thing. It's hard to get those things back off again.
Well, I mean, that kind of goes to show the how good the construction is.
Yeah, I mean, you can take the panels off one by one if you needed to, but all of the hardware that's mounting those panels to that roof are still there. It's unistrut construction. So even if you can get the unistrut off, then you're still going to have all these brackets poking out all over the place, you know, and getting those things off, because those are actually glued and sealed to your roof, and then they're bolted to the joists of your
gun.
Roof.
So they're not going anywhere.
No. And once they're on, they're on.
So we had a real bad hailstorm back in 2011, and then we had Harvey, in 2017, and trees falling on roofs and hail damaging roofs and stuff like that. What does that look like if you said that, they're warranted for 30 years, but that's probably for wear and tear possibly, or is that, what about damage?
Damage will be covered under your homeowner's insurance.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you would need to make sure that when you're installing them that your insurance policy will be able to cover them.
Yeah. Typically your insurance policy will cover them if you have them covered under your windstorm policy, or if you have them just under the Texas wind policy. Yeah. typically that'll cover the damage that they'll sustain because of it.
Okay. Wow, well, that's a lot of info. So I kind of got us off track. So we were talking about the top 3 things that people need to know whenever they get them installed.
I think we covered it.
Don't get screwed over by the salesman. Yeah. Call y'all. Yeah. So that you know for sure.
Questions.
Yes, ask questions. So tell us some more things so that people can be prepared. People can protect themselves.
Oh, I'm happy you asked for that. So the reason for our event, the Truth About Solar in January that we just talked about, is to bring homeowners and realtors and builders and roofers and anybody that has questions about solar up to speed on what you need to know before you get the short end of the stick. Homeowners have no idea. They do research. Have you ever Googled, is solar right for me? Or even Googled just the word solar? Oh, it's almost. See, the problem with Googling it and trying to do research on your own is you have to sift through like 30 or 40 ads of people saying solar is perfect for you, solar is great, solar works.
Well, and everybody's different opinion about it too, I'm sure.
Yeah, so if you Google it, your first 2 or 3 pages are going to be nothing but that. So no matter which one you click, solar is going to work. It does everything it needs to, and it's great. Just fill in this information, and we'll let you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's a funnel. It's something designed to get you to fall victim to misinformation.
Yeah.
So solar is a hard thing to research. And unless you know somebody on the inside that designs it and really don't have the intention on just slaughtering you at your door.
Yeah.
You know, if they really do have your best interests in mind, they will do everything they can to give you all of the correct information.
That's good. Yeah.
You know, so going back to the event, that is what this is about. Lazarick and I, we've known each other since we worked in the oil field.
That's cool.
And we have a really strong relationship, and it's mostly because he was a crane operator and he would carry, I don't know if there's anybody in the oil field. If there is, you know, the flow crosses, the goat heads, frac stacks, I would bolt all those up. Laz is the guy that would actually carry everything with a crane, right? So if you're in the oil field, or if you know anybody in the oil field, they'll attest to it's horribly loud. You can't barely see out of that crane operator's truck or out of his crane. And you can't really yell. So everything is through hand signals and through head nods.
Gotcha,
you know,
wow.
And 90% of the time, Laz is looking at my back. So he has no idea what I'm doing. I'm blocking his view. He's just, you know, faithfully doing what I tell him to do with my hands and with my head.
Yeah.
And he's carrying 15,000 pounds right over me.
Jeez Louise.
In, you know, in the slightest, the easiest, I mean, most common thing that could happen is I could cut off a finger.
Wow.
Or cut off a hand or break an arm. Worst thing, I can die.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a strong bond between he and I. Even now, if he were here at this podcast, we would actually be communicating with each other through head nods and
awesome.
and taps, you know, and because we just have that ability now. And one thing we learned out there is your name is everything. Your reputation is
You're
everything.
exactly right.
That is what matters most. You know, we learned that company men and companies don't care what company you work for as long as they can get you there to do the job because they trust you.
Right.
You know, or they trust the crew that you've trained and they trust your guys. So with that, we come out and decide, you know, layoffs happen, COVID happens, the oil field comes to a screeching halt. Laz leaves the crane business and he goes off and starts selling solar, and then I get laid off from the oil field after 20 years of being in the oil field. I get laid off. You'd think I'd have better plans, right? Knowing how the oil field works. Yeah, and seeing it, knowing the ebb and tide of every year.
Me. Yeah.
You'd think I'd know better. But no, I crashed into it head on like most everything else.
Yeah.
And so I get laid off, and my wife and I we had just gotten married in October of 2020.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. I got laid off in November.
Oh, man.
So I had to tell my brand new wife, hey, babe, everything's on your shoulders.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best. Sorry
That's
about this. It
hard.
was totally unplanned.
Yeah. That's
But
so hard.
in any case, you know, she had my back. She really, she doubled down and she pulled through for us.
That's amazing.
I give her a lot of credit, a lot of props. I'd have probably drowned without her. You know?
That's awesome.
And one day we were talking about trying to save money, and I was like, hey, you know, what about solar? And I'd asked because I had seen Laz post up on Facebook that he's selling solar. And so it was in my head, and she's like, what is it? I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But let me call Laz, and let's see about this, you know? And she's like, okay, cool. So I call Laz. He comes over. He gives me he does a consultation for me. He shows me all the ins and outs of it. And then he asks how work is going, and I'm like, what work?
Yeah, seriously.
What are you talking about? Man, I'm laid off. This isn't even going to be under my name. It's going to be under her name.
Yeah.
You know, so ultimately what happened was he knew who I was. He knew my work ethic. And he just said, hey, man, you know, I really want you to come to the office, see if this is something that you can do.
Yeah.
You know, you're really good at doing what you do in the oil field. You're great at building teams. You're great at leadership. I can see you being an asset.
Yeah.
And so I go to the office with him. I learn about solar, and we take off from there.
That's awesome.
And what we realized is out here in Corpus, I don't know if this is a worldwide issue or if it's just really, here in South Texas, but there are a lot of homeowners that don't know about solar, and there are a ton of dishonest salesmen.
Yeah.
That will sell you anything that they can just to make the sell.
Yeah.
And like I said, the bad thing about that is a lot of homeowners wind up getting the very short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And with that, it was a very frustrating thing because we're out there trying to spread this information, trying to give homeowners a fair shot at getting a good deal.
Yeah.
And making sure that everything is going to work the way it's supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
And we get undermined sometimes by the same people on our sales team.
Jeez.
And we brought all of this to our management. We brought it to leadership, and their mindset was, who cares?
We're making money.
Everybody's making money. Who cares? Like, really? Would you do this to your mom?
Yeah. Or your friend, your family.
Would you do it to your brother or your sister? Would you screw them like that? Because if you wouldn't, somebody will. Yeah. And you condone it. You're okay with it.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. Mm-hmm. So we quit.
Good for you.
And we quit, and they tried like hell to get us to come back. They even offered us management positions. They offered to create our own office outside of the office that we were working in.
Wow.
They did everything they could to keep us. And we said, no, it's not going to happen, because with guys like those on your sales team, who needs competitors?
Right.
No matter which way we go, they're there to shut everything down, steal the bid, steal the job, whatever they can. I don't need competitors at this point. I got them. Right. They're going to push me out. And they did. And they did the same to Laz. And so we went on and started working for another company. And then we decided that the biggest thing is education. Yeah. Being transparent, painfully transparent. Yeah. Letting homeowners know, if this is going to work for you, we'll let you know. And if it's not, we'll let you know. Yeah. We're not going to try to make something fit that doesn't fit. It's not like a square peg round hole. If it just doesn't work, it doesn't work. Yeah. Sorry, we tried. But if it doesn't work, we still leave a homeowner with a plethora of information. Yeah. So that when someone does come and they say, oh, yeah, sure, it's going to work. This is how it's going to work. This is how it's going to do it. Yeah, just sign here. We're not even sure if we can do this for you. It's up to the city, which is a lie. Oh, my goodness. It's not gracious. Up to the city, but that is a tactic. We're not even sure if we can do this for you. Just sign here, get approved, and we're going to send everything to the city, and then they'll decide if we can do it. Wow. That's wrong. The second you sign, you get approved, it's done. Yeah. You've got 3 days, according to the state of Texas, to cancel that contract. If you do not, you're in. You're stuck. Wow. And you have no idea what you just bought, because you're waiting for the city to say yes or no. Yeah. The next thing you know, they're knocking on your door, getting ready to install panels. Oh, my. And you're like, well, obviously, it was approved by the city, And
I trust the city, so, or in most cases, so might as well continue.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is, it's already done. Wow. They've already sent the system to engineering. The engineering department has already designed it according to city code. They've already sent it back. There is a 99.97% chance you are getting panels on your roof.
Jeez.
And it's
That's
not
kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. And see, it sounds very bombarding, very like rah, 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 but that's a pushy salesman. Yeah. That is where they're like, okay, well, what if I do this? What if I give you a thermostat? What if I give you some light bulbs? Yeah. What if all of this is going to help you? But really it's just smoke and mirrors. Right. It's a thermostat. Yeah. It's going to do the same thing your thermostat's already doing.
I mean, but hey, if it's going to get you to buy it, I get that.
And they do that. How about if we give you $1,000? We're going to give you $1,000 if you sign up today. Did you know that you're paying for that $1,000 for the next 25 years? Gosh, because it didn't come out of the salesman. He's not going to lose commission. Yeah. And the office isn't going to give you $1,000. So where did it come from? It came from you. Man. And so there's so many shady tactics that happen that you cannot just give a homeowner a cut and dry system. Yeah. You can't just say, this is what it's going to do. This is how it's going to do it. And if you like it, we can move forward. If you don't, I appreciate your time.
Right. But
when somebody does come and knock at your door, this is what you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you have to ask.
Yeah.
This is how they need to prove, and
Right.
we are beginning to arm homeowners. So now when I do a consultation, it's mostly just putting armor on them and getting
That's
them
awesome.
ready, and then I'll give them my design, and they ask me literally all the same questions, and I'm able to answer them truthfully and honestly,
Right.
because there's nothing there.
Yeah, they
It's
don't need to worry about being
transparent.
scammed. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not going to offer you $1,000 because I'm not going to ask you to pay for it for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
I'm not going to offer you a free thermostat because you just bought a $700 thermostat that was initially $75. But
Oh, my.
for the next 25 years,
Oh, my.
just
Because you
bought-
bought it through the company and didn't buy it yourself.
right, you bought it yourself.
Jeez.
You said yes to the thermostat. I checked thermostat. I bring you a thermostat. You have no idea what you just paid for.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
Amazon light bulbs.
Oh,
they're
my.
LED light bulbs from Amazon.
Yeah.
You can buy them for $3, but we're going to sell them to you for $60.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's all of that they make it seem like you're getting a great deal, but man, you're really not.
Right.
And it's very overwhelming. I've had a lot of homeowners where they are just exasperated.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to deal with it. As soon as they find out you're with solar, that door's already slamming on you.
Right.
It's like, hey, well, hold on. What has you?
Yeah.
What's got you so upset about it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
when, well, you guys come over here and you guys tell me this and you guys tell me that. And it's like, whoa, slow down with the you guys.
Right.
Because don't let me in with those guys.
Exactly.
I'm not
Yeah.
them. And typically I just hit them with transparency.
Right.
Communication, education.
That's awesome.
And again, it's just something that you can give a homeowner that gives them a fighting chance.
Yeah.
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 And
100%.
so, yeah.
Well, so that event is January 22nd?
Mm-hmm. January 22nd at 6 p.m.
Alamo Draft House in Corpus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. And if anybody needs to reach out to you with any questions, how do they do that?
They can shoot me an email. It's mike.rodriguez at AOSP-USA.com.
Okay.
Or they can just go to that website, AOSP-USA.com.
Okay.
Find me in the team section. Shoot me an email. My phone number is on there.
Awesome.
Lazarik's information is also on there.
Excellent.
As it sits, we are the only 2 members right now because, as you can tell, we're very picky, and it's not going to be just open to everybody.
Right.
To become a member of AOSP, you need to be vetted.
Yeah.
I have to shake down your customers. And the reason behind that is if you work for somebody and I ask you, can I talk to your boss? Your boss is going to vouch for you.
Right.
You're his boss. You're going to make him money. He's going to vouch for you.
Yeah.
But would your homeowners?
Right.
Would your customers?
Real life testimonials. Yeah.
Let me talk to them. Let me hear
Yeah.
what they have to say about you. Let me shake them down.
Right.
And if you fit, welcome to the team. And
Yeah.
if you don't, I'm sorry we couldn't do business.
Right. For sure.
But we are growing members actively. Since the launch of the website, we've got I want to say 27 requests of this.
That's awesome.
So I've got 27 people I've got to vet,
That's good.
and decide whether or not I want to keep their membership fee or not.
Yeah.
If they don't fit, I'm going to give them their money back and tell them, I'm sorry, this isn't the membership for you.
Yeah.
We hold people accountable, and we are built on a different standard.
Yeah.
So if anybody comes to your door, just so you guys know, anybody comes to your door selling solar, ask them if they are a member of the Association of Solar Professionals. Ask them for their badge. Flip it around. There'll be a QR code. They'll scan that QR code. You'll scan that QR code. And it will take you to our website with that person's face on it. It will have all of their information, their contact information. It will have the amount of houses that they've sold, and it will have the amount of people that they're in good standing with. So if they made it that far and you made it that far on the website, they're going to be decent people. They're going to be transparent with
That's
you.
good.
And they're going to make sure that you're not going to be lied to or taken
Good,
advantage
honest
of.
people. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome that you guys are doing that for consumers.
Yeah, and
That's great.
it has to happen.
Yeah.
It has to happen. There has to be an equalizer.
Absolutely.
Because nobody cares otherwise. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, you guys are running a really honest business. And, I think all of us are really grateful for that.
Right on.
And so what is one thing, and we always finish with this, what is one thing that you do every day to make the world a better place?
Be a better version of me than I was yesterday.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I used to have a boss, a business owner, that was in the oil field. And he was real big on customer service, honesty, and transparency. I mean, he is like one of my biggest mentors. His name is James Newton.
That's
if
awesome.
anybody knows James, give him a shout out. But he would always tell me, he's got this really burly voice, and I used to be able to hit his voice just right, but I can't anymore. But I can say his advice to me was, Mike, you can shear a sheep 1,000 times, but you can only skin them once. And he would always say, you need to use that with your customers. You need to use that with your team. You need to take care of them because they take care of you.
You're exactly right.
And so that was one of his pieces of advice. There's a lot of other ones that he gave me, but they've got bad words and they just don't hit the same without them.
I totally feel that.
But that's one that he never cussed in, and that's one
awesome.
that I dedicated to heart.
Yeah.
So definitely
well,
that.
That's great. That's great. Well, we really appreciate your time here, and
I appreciate
thank you for
it.
educating us all. And if you guys have any questions, I'll put all of his contact info in the show notes for y'all. And we thank you for tuning in today. Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.